You know, they talk about influencers. These are influencers, and they're friends of mine. Jack Posobiec. Where's Jack? Jack, who's done a great job.
All right, Jack Posobiec, we're back here live from the North Lawn of the White House. We're on with Michael Knowles, and we were talking about this this comment that President Trump actually made earlier today regarding will he get to heaven by saving lives, by stopping wars, and how this has kicked off a theological debate. And it perhaps is fitting because Michael Knowles has a new docuseries out all about the secret Vatican files of World War II. And I believe we have the trailer. Let's play it now.
History is written by the victors. But what if the victors got it wrong? For 80 years, the world has condemned one man as the Pope of Silence, the man who stood by in the face of shocking evil. But can we trust the popular narrative, even after all these years? This is not just a story about Hitler and the Holocaust. One of the worst lies ever told about the Catholic Church is what she did or did not do in one of modernity's darkest hours. Now, for the first time, the Vatican's secret archive is open, and the truth is far more shocking than the fiction. Propagandists have peddled one story for decades, but now we can definitively know better. Join me in this 4-part series, where we will discover the true story of Pope Pius XII, Hitler, and the Second World War.
This is wild. Michael Knowles, you've put together the docuseries. Walk us through how this came about and why you decided to put it together now.
Well, Jack, we all know that the news is fake a lot of the time, and if you think the news is fake, just wait till you see what propagandists have done to history. There is a man, the Pope during World War II, Pope Pius XII, one of the great men of the 20th century, who is probably the most smeared and calumniated, slandered man of the 20th century. He has been accused of being silent in the face of Nazism, of being even complicit. Some propagandists have called him Hitler's Pope. And it's just not true. It's ridiculous. He's one of the great heroes. He stood firm. Hitler considered him his personal enemy, as he wrote to Francisco Franco. Pope Pius XII saved many people, including many Jews, so much so that the chief rabbi of Rome after the war converted to Catholicism and took the name Eugenio, which is Pope Pius XII's name, before he became Pope. So this man has just been lied about in some of the most horrific ways. We have a 4-part series to set the record straight, in part because we have a new pope. We have an American pope for the first time. Catholicism seems to be shockingly on the rise, especially among adult conversions. So this is very much of the moment. There's a return to faith, questioning of historical narratives. And so we want to get the facts out there. And just this morning, I saw there was a piece in the Times of Israel. Shmuley Boteach, who is this kind of wacky rabbi, I hate to malign rabbis by associating Shmuley with them, but he came out and he accused me and the Daily Wire and Ben Shapiro of rehabilitating a Nazi collaborator. I mean, he's just furthering the calumny. It shows you how widespread this false belief is. And so I encourage people to go join Daily Wire Plus because they can get the full story. They get all the facts, because if you don't know your history, you're not going to know which way your country, your civilization should be going.
Well, I think this is great, and it's definitely something where, especially Pope Pius, I know for a lot of traditional Catholics, he's someone that a lot of people will point to because he really, even as a Polish guy, of course, nothing but love for JP the two, but Pope Pius XII was really someone who came in on a lot of the hot button issues, and for people to look at this and say this is pre-Vatican II, this is pre a lot of these modernist changes that we saw with the church, and who's someone who spoke with incredible clarity on moral issues that we are still wrestling with to this very day. And so I really feel like a lot of the smears and a lot of this campaign went against him because they don't want people looking beyond all that to see who the man actually was and what he stood for.
Certainly. And not only did he speak and write with clarity, but he acted with clarity. And I think something confusing about Pius XII when we look at our modern age of TikTok and clicks is that the man did not just showboat all the time. In fact, in his prudence to defend the innocent, to defend Christians, especially to defend Jews, or in Rome and throughout Europe. Sometimes he had to act in silence, and he suffered a kind of a martyrdom in a certain sense. His reputation was maligned because he was acting behind the scenes, furtively. He was wise. The chief political virtue is prudence, and that certainly saved many, many lives, but he didn't get the credit for it. Well, now the Vatican Secret Archive is open, and so historians are able to look at these documents. The story is clear as day. The propagandists are liars. The calumny against Pius came from enemies of the church, notably from the communists, and we see all sorts of lies about our civilization, about the church today. So we need to be sure that we're very clear about this, and we can look ahead, because this is not just merely looking back to the 1940s and the 1950s, but this is about looking ahead to where our civilization will go if we are to survive.
Wait a minute, Knowles, so you're telling me that the textbooks and the newspapers are totally against the Pope Pius XII, and that the communists of the time were also against him. So then that belies the question, who's in charge of our media right now, and who's been writing these textbooks?
Yeah, it turns out that the historic enemy of the church, the communists, there were multiple villains in World War II. The communists were certainly up there. It turns out, they remain enemies of the church, but not exactly a man bites dog story. But unfortunately, propaganda does have a way really of working. And so we need to see clarity here, because even in the lead up to World War II, you can see Pope Pius XII, then Eugenio Pacelli, was a diplomat in Germany. So he saw the rise of Hitler. He knew Hitler's number early on. And the Pope Pius XI, his predecessor, wrote Mit brennender Sorge to counteract the rise of Nazism. He wrote it in German to spread it among the German people. But Hitler very likely wanted to kidnap the Pope and possibly kill him, wrote that he would, or rather said to Goebbels wrote that he would destroy the churches in Germany. So, you have one enemy of the church coming from one side, you have this other enemy, the communists, coming from the other, and you have this one man standing alone when everyone flees Rome, the King of Italy, Mussolini, and here is Pius XII standing firm and standing for the truth and doing a lot of good and saving a lot of people in the process.
Now we're just about out of time. Tell people again where they can go to get that. Daily Wire Plus?
Only place to go, Daily Wire Plus. You all have to come over so that I can beat Walsh and Shapiro on their subscription numbers. We need to make Pius XII the big show.
Pius XII. I'm definitely going to be checking that out. Michael Knowles, thanks so much for joining us once again here, Human Events Daily. Right back live from the White House, Real America's Voice.